In this video, I'll be discussing graphing of lines. So we have different ways on how we graph lines, but this time, I'll be discussing the three most common ways kung paano tayo nag-graph. First, we have using slope-intercept form. Remember, our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So, 3 steps lang yung susundin natin. First, plot the y-intercept. Second, plot the other point using the slope. And third, form the line by connecting those points. Okay, for example, let's say y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5. In this equation, our slope is negative 2/3 and y-intercept is 5. So first step, plot the y-intercept. So we have here a Cartesian coordinate system. Since ang ating y-intercept ay 5, andun siya sa positive y-axis. So, nandito sa point na to. So, coordinates, we have 0, 5. Next is to plot the other point using the slope. Okay, maraming nalilito sa part na to kapag involved na yung slope. Sa rise, kung kailan sila mag-up or magda-down, at sa run kung kailan sila magla-left and kailan sila magra-right. So, in this case, ganito na lang yung gawin nyo, okay? So, kung ano yung numerator natin, since ang numerator natin dito ay rise, kaysa mag-isip kayo kung bababa or tataas, pag nakita nyo yung numerator nyo, lagi na lang kayong mag-up. Again, wag nyo nang i-consider ang pagbaba. Lagi na lang mag-up. So, since our rise here is 2, up tayo ng 2. From this point, we have 1, 2. Next, we have our run. Dito nyo tatanungin yung sarili nyo kung magra-right or magla-left kayo. And yung answer, depende sa slope. Magra-right kayo kung positive ang inyong slope at magla-left naman kayo kung negative ang inyong slope. So, in this case, we have a negative slope. So, ibig sabihin, magla-left tayo ng 3. So, we have 1, 2, 3. So, ibig sabihin, nandito yung other point natin. Then, connect lang natin yung 2 points na yon to form the line. So, this is the graph of y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5. Next example, we have y equals negative 4/5x minus 3. So, this time, our slope is negative 4/5 and our y-intercept is negative 3. So, again, we have the coordinate system. Our y-intercept is negative 3. So, andito siya sa negative y-axis natin. Nandito. Next, plot the other point using the slope. Since ang ating rise dito is this 4, mag-up tayo ng 4. From this point, taas tayo ng 4. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, consider naman natin ang ating run, which is 5. And since we have a negative slope, magla-left tayo ng 5. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then, plot lang natin yung other point dito and connect those points. Okay po. Next, last example for this method. We have negative 6x plus 2y equals negative 2. Since this equation is in standard form, lipat muna natin siya sa slope-intercept form. So, we have 2y is equals, transpose to negative 6x, we have 6x minus 2. Then, to eliminate the numerical coefficient of y, divide both sides by 2. So, we have y equals 3x minus 1. This time, ang ating y-intercept is negative 1. So, andito siya sa negative y-axis. And our slope is 3, which is also written as 3/1. Okay, para lang makita nyo kung alin ang rise, alin ang run. So, our numerator is 3. So, magra-rise tayo or tataas tayo ng 3. From this point, we have 1, 2, 3. And our denominator or run is 1. And since this is a positive slope, this time, magra-right tayo ng 1. Okay, so again, plot lang natin yung point doon and connect those points. So, this is the graph of the equation. Okay, next method, we have using x and y intercept. So, this time, to find, okay, we will be using this equation, negative 6x plus 2y equals negative 2. And we will be finding the x-intercept. Okay, when we say x-intercept, saang part sa x-axis tumama yung graph? And for us to find the x-intercept, set natin si y as 0. So, we have this equation, then substitute lang natin si 0 kay y. So, we have negative 6x plus 2 times 0 equals negative 2. So, we have negative 6x, 2 times 0 is 0 equals negative 2. So, we have negative 6x equals negative 2. Divide both sides by 6, we have x is equals 1/3. Ibig sabihin, so x-axis natin, tatama ang graph sa point na to. Coordinates, we have 1/3, 0. Next, let us find the y-intercept. Kapag y-intercept naman, saang part sa y-axis tatama yung graph? To find that, let us set x as 0. So, again, yung x dito, papalitan lang natin ng 0. We will be having negative 6 times 0 plus 2y equals negative 2. We have 0 plus 2y equals negative 2. 2y is equals negative 2, and to find y, divide both sides by 2. So, we have y is equals negative 1. So, ibig sabihin, sa y-axis natin, tatama dito yung graph. Coordinates, we have 0, negative 1. Then, connect lang natin yung 2 points na yon. And kung mapapansin natin, katulad lang siya ng graph ng example natin kanina. Using the other method. Okay? So, last method we have here using table of values. So, we will be using the same equation, negative 6x plus 2y equals negative 2. Kapag gumagamit tayo ng table of values, pipili lang tayo ng any values ni x. So, again, at least 2 points, pwede na tayong makabuo ng lines. But this time, 5 points yung hahanapin natin. Pili lang tayo ng values ng x, kahit anong number to, pero kalimitan, nag-start tayo sa maliliit na numbers lang. So, I'll be using negative 2 to positive 2. Kalimitan, sinasama yung 0 para mas madali sa substitution. Now, next step natin is to find the values of y in corresponding values of x. So, again, we have this equation. Let us find y if x is negative 2. Substitute lang natin si negative 2 kay x. So, we have negative 6 times negative 2 plus 2y equals negative 2. So, we have negative 6 times negative 2 is 12 plus 2y equals negative 2. So, we have 2y equals negative 2 minus 12. 2y equals negative 14. Divide both sides by 2. So, we have y equals negative 7. Meaning, if x is negative 2, y is negative 7. Next, find y if x is negative 1. Substitution again. Negative 6 times negative 1 plus 2y equals negative 2. Negative 6 times negative 1 is positive 6 plus 2y equals negative 2. Transpose 6, we have 2y equals negative 2 minus 6. 2y equals negative 8. And to find y, divide both sides by 2. So, y is equals negative 4. So, if x is negative 1, y is negative 4. Next, if y is, find y if x is 0. Again, this x should be 0. So, negative 6 times 0 plus 2y equals negative 2. Negative 6 times 0 is simply 0 plus 2y equals negative 2. So, we have 2y equals negative 2. Divide both sides by 2. We have y equals negative 1. Meaning, if x is 0, y is negative 1. Next, find y if x is positive 1. So, itong x, magiging positive 1 siya, substitution. Negative 6 times 1 plus 2y equals negative 2. Negative 6 plus 2y equals negative 2. So, transpose negative 6. We have 2y equals negative 2 plus 6. Now, we have 2y equals 4. Then, divide both sides by 2. Y is positive 2. So, if x is positive 1, our y is positive 2. Last, find y if x is positive 2. Again, substitute lang natin si 2 dito. We have negative 6 times 2 plus 2y equals negative 2. Negative 6 times 2 is negative 12 plus 2y equals negative 2. So, we have 2y equals negative 2 plus 12, which is equals 10. So, to find y here, divide both sides by 2. Y is equals positive 5. Okay? This time, we have the coordinates of 5 points we have negative 2, negative 7, negative 1, negative 4, 0, negative 1, 1, 2, and 2, 5. Next step is to plot these points. So first, we have negative 2, negative 7, nasa third quadrant siya. Next, negative 1, negative 4, third quadrant. 0, negative 1 on y-axis. 1, 2, first quadrant. And 2, 5. Again, first quadrant. Then, connect lang natin yung points na yon. And this is the graph. Again, katulad lang siya nung graph kanina when we used a slope-intercept form.